Thank you for joining us for this webinar on online sales strategies. This is a three-part series, and today is part 2, selling digital products online. I'm your moderator, Renee Goodnow from the New York Small Business Development Center. Today's host is the PACE Small Business Development Center. Joining us on camera is Andrew Flam, the PACE SBDC Director.
Thanks so much, Renee, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that were with us last week, as well as new attendees, really appreciate you taking the time. Again, my name is Andrew Flam. I'm part of the Peace University Small Business Development Center in Lower Manhattan, one of 22 centers located throughout New York State. And we focus on providing one-on-one business advisory services. Our team of full-time business advisors are there to work with you all on marketing, access to finance, operational issues, access to procurement opportunities, certifications, and other things. All of our services are offered at no cost, as we are an SBA resource partner. So we look forward to working with those of you who we have not as of yet. I will put our contact info in the chat with information about how to reach us, as well as a brief link where you can request one-on-one business advisory service. It takes 2-3 minutes to complete, and then we'll reach out to you to set up a one-on-one session. So just indicate on there whether you want to look at further kind of e-commerce and marketing opportunities, or if there are other topics to tackle with the business advisor. We're delighted to have Julie back today. This is one of a wide range of webinars that our center, as well as our colleagues from throughout New York State, host. I will also put a link into the chat that has an ongoing calendar of sessions that we're hosting, as well as those that our colleagues are hosting as well. So do take advantage of those and click the links on the relevant session that you want to join. Many, if not all of them, are free. All of the ones that we offer are offered at no cost, including next week's third session, which will be selling physical products that Julie will be leading as well. Finally, I'll make a quick reference, and I've mentioned it in past sessions. If any of you have also questions about COVID-19 recovery programs, whether they are accessing the various public sector programs from the federal, state, and city governments, as well as the various foundations and other private sector sources that are putting forward program resources for small businesses who are trying to recover from COVID-19, do contact us. We'd love to kind of work with you to figure out what programs might be a good fit for your business if you haven't applied for them already, and help you pull that information together and get those applications in. So with that, hopefully that was a more expedited version than prior weeks, but I do want to turn the floor over now to my colleague from Pace University, Julie Gauthier, who will lead today's session. Thanks so much again, Julie. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. So just a quick introduction first. I'm Julie. I'm a web scripting adjunct professor at Pace University. I have a bachelor's and a master's in computer science. And I'm currently a curriculum engineer at MongoDB. A spirit of entrepreneurship has always been really important to me. And the idea that you could sell things online, that you could make money from inside your house with no physical materials, has been interesting to me since I was a little kid. The first thing that I sold online was tutoring services. I was tutoring in web development to folks from different countries, and that was amazing. And it was especially amazing because I was making $50 an hour as a college student, teaching web development and learning a lot along the way. So since then, I've really been looking into all sorts of different ways that you can sell things, make money online, that you can sell your services, you can sell digital products, and you can sell physical products online. So a lot of these are just going to be small businesses or even just one-off things that you can sell individually. So today we're going to be talking about selling digital products online. And digital products refers to things that you can download and use on your computer. So a lot of examples of this include ebooks or photographs, stock photos, some graphics, data sets if you have access to interesting data, your music, videos, workbooks, infographics, white pages, blog posts, articles. There are a lot of things that you can create without any real technical knowledge that you can sell online. Some of the major benefits to selling digital products online are that you can sell an unlimited number of copies and there's no real overhead to that. So whether you sell one copy of your ebook or you sell 1,000,000 copies of your ebook, any additional copies that you sell is just money in the bank. You don't have to worry about the overhead of printing or PR or anything like that. So, so selling digital products can be really profitable. And if you're great at marketing, it can be really special because you don't have to worry so much about that, that overhead of creating all the physical products or scaling. And the downside is that it's difficult to prevent people from stealing your work. If people have copies downloaded on their computers, then chances are they can probably repost them somewhere online or share them digitally. There are a couple tools that make it possible to kind of try to prevent that, but it's not always so easy. And sometimes the only answer is really just to constantly be searching for your own work online so that you can take legal action if necessary. So what are some things that you can create that that you can start to sell online? Something that has come to my attention as I've grown through my professional career as something that's really valuable is a white paper. A white paper is like a very advanced blog post, but it's a research paper that demonstrates some unique insights. If you're somebody who loves to research, if you have a topic that you're very passionate about and you love to do research on that topic, and that topic is part of an industry, that this is a great way to write that as a research paper is a great way to be able to sell that and make some money from businesses that are interested in that information or that are interested in having that research that probably would be paying one of their employees a lot of money to be doing that research otherwise. So white papers and articles are definitely things that people will pay for. A very popular blogging platform called Medium also recently switched to a payment model, so that if you are reading if you're reading articles and you're reading blog posts on their platform, you can pay the author. There are also a lot more platforms coming up that are focused on making sure that authors of important blog posts do get paid. So if you're interested in writing, it's a great way to be able to post something online and make a little bit of money off of your unique knowledge. Designs are definitely another thing that is sold online very regularly. If you're good at graphic design, if you're good at turning your artwork into digital artwork, if you're great at designing icons, or you're great at designing web pages or PowerPoint decks, then releasing some of those assets in like a very generic way is an awesome way to make some money. Something that I really wish that I was better at is designing slide decks. As you can see, the slide decks that I use even today are pretty straightforward. They're pretty plain because it's really hard. So that's definitely something that I would pay for if I had to create a really important slide deck. I would definitely pay for a template that just looks awesome. Web layouts are another thing that people will definitely pay money for. Templates that are just made of code is definitely something that people will pay for because it saves them a lot of time in the coding process. But also with website builders like Webflow and Squarespace, and even more complex no-code website building tools like Bubble, releasing generic templates for those websites is another way that you can reach out to people who just need a template for a landing page. So selling those generic templates is another great way to start selling some digital products online. Some digital assets that you can sell also include newsletters. Some folks have paid newsletters through a website called ConvertKit. And a well-written, curated newsletter is something that's extremely valuable to a lot of people. So I personally subscribe to newsletter subscriptions. It's the new newspapers. So newsletters, if you regularly are doing research on a topic that's interesting to a lot of people, then that's great, and also is a great way to make a little bit of extra money if you can use your newsletter as a way to market products, either for yourself or for other people. Custom art is another digital asset that you can sell online. If you're an artist who takes commissions, then that's definitely something that you can sell online. Online courses as well. My living is as a course designer for a database company, and it's definitely something that is a really interesting thing to do because you learn a lot so much in the process of creating a course, and it's a great way for you to organize your own information on a topic. So I always recommend designing a course even if you have no intention of selling it, if you're trying to very deeply learn a topic. But with online courses, you can create a course that's just tutorials and video content, and you can sell access to that as a self-paced course. Or you can create an online course that's a cohort-based course, which is very popular right now. And a cohort-based course would involve meeting with everybody on a Zoom classroom type situation for a set number of hours, and you would be working with this one group of people and delivering content to them and helping them along the way with projects. A couple really popular cohort-based courses now that are kind of on my radar. There's one about writing that's done by David Perel, who's just an expert online writer, and he does cohort-based courses and sells them for $2,000 for a 6-week course. There's also a no-code development course from MakerPad that again is $600 for a 5-week course. So people are definitely paying money, and cohort-based courses are effective because it gives that community as well. Which is another thing that you can sell access to online, is if you are a great community manager, if you're somebody who's really friendly and you like making friends online, something that you can sell access to is an online community. Over the last year, Discord, which is a platform that a lot of folks previously just used for gaming, but is a way that kind of has a text chat room and also has voice chats from time to time. This platform has grown in popularity, and a lot of online communities are using it now as a way to get everybody working together on projects. And people will also pay money to access these online communities. An online community that I do pay $5 a month to be part of, called Women Make, has completely changed my life. And it's introduced me to women all around the world who are really interested in entrepreneurship, particularly tech entrepreneurship. So, and it just provides like so much value to me. So that's something that if you want a community of people who are interested in the same sorts of things as you, who are working towards common goals as you, then not only is that helpful for you, but it's really helpful for other people, and they would be willing to pay for the value that they get out of those online communities. Selling assets for creators is also really important. This year, or this past summer, I started getting into development for Oculus, for virtual reality, and there are so many skills that are involved in creating a game, like creating the artwork for it, creating all of the sounds for it, writing a story for it. Not to mention the programming end of it. It's just so many skills that it's nobody's really going to have all of those skills. So selling assets to those creators is a great way to make money. Even for creators who are people who are like vloggers, or people who are creating YouTube movies, then honestly, there's this background music that's the default in iMovie, and if I hear one more YouTube video with that background music, I'm going to lose my mind. So if you are somebody who can just create even basic background music, if you're somebody who likes to play with music production at all, then you can sell those sound files to people who are creating their own YouTube videos. Likewise, if you are somebody who can create a really awesome like animated intro for people who are vlogging weekly, when I need those custom assets for things, I'll go to Fiverr.com, and that's even for if I need something like a logo. If I'm starting a new project and I need a logo for it, then I'll go to Fiverr.com for it. If I need something that's customized, likewise, sometimes I don't have the time to write great copy for something, and so Fiverr.com is a great resource for that. And so folks are selling their services to create those custom assets on Fiverr.com. Other things that digital creators will inevitably need: fonts. I've paid for like fonts that have been sold online before. Creating fonts isn't that difficult either if you know how to use Adobe Illustrator. Web layouts as well. I've definitely paid for templates for websites before. It saves me so much time, and I'm a web developer, and it saves me so much time, so it is well worth it. Logos also, I've paid for logos to be created for me before. I'm just not necessarily that creative. Same thing for stock photos. When I'm putting together a website or a pitch deck or something like that, if I'm putting together marketing posts, chances are pretty good that I'm going to need some stock photos. There are a lot of free stock photo sites, but I also don't find exactly the pictures that I need on most of them. Also, like I mentioned before, background music for things like video games and things like YouTube videos. So that can just be something that's super simple to create. It doesn't need to be like a musical masterpiece. It can just be some simple background music. Photoshop and Illustrator brushes, also things that I've paid for before. I had a particular artistic vision, and the default brushes that were available in the Adobe products just weren't doing it for me. But I found a Photoshop brush that included exactly the shape that I was looking for to create the design that I needed to create. And I mentioned earlier as well, PowerPoint templates or Google Slide templates is also definitely something that I have paid for before, to have a really awesome deck as a pitch deck for myself. I'm just not that creative. There are a couple websites that do, if you're on the buying end of this as well, there are a couple websites that do now help that a little bit better, like Canva is a great tool that makes design a little bit easier. Another market that I am definitely in that I have purchased a lot of digital files for over the last year, especially as I've gotten deeper into digital embroidery, is all of these files for these really specific crafting machines. I never thought that Etsy sellers were possibly making any money on selling knitting or crochet patterns as downloads. But they are. They're making a lot of money selling these knitting patterns and crocheting patterns. Crocheting is definitely seeing a little bit of a comeback right now too, with it becoming a little bit more popular on TikTok. And these patterns are, again, pretty easy to create, and you can just sell them as a PDF to folks that want to recreate a knitting or crocheting project. SVGs, scalable vector graphics, are needed for crafting machines like the Cricut, which is also growing in great popularity thanks to Facebook. But a lot of the folks that have these crafting machines don't know how to create their own SVGs, so they just go to Etsy and buy SVGs. And honestly, a lot of times it doesn't make sense for me to spend 6 hours creating the perfect SVG if I can just find it on Etsy. So I've bought plenty of SVGs for my Cricut machine to make just t-shirts and stuff for myself over the last 2 years. People are definitely making a lot of money doing this, and also folks that are doing digital embroidery as well. There's a huge market for that because the software to create those digital embroidery designs is either extremely hard to use or very expensive. So if you have access to those to that software, then selling those files, which are very specific for the digital embroidery machines, is a great way to find people online. And those are also really wonderful because they're extremely niche markets. So the communities are really engaged. Also digital files for laser engravers and CNC machines. I personally have an Etsy store. I do custom laser engravings, but there are a lot of things that I want to make with the laser engraver. And sometimes it's just really difficult to go ahead through CAD, through computer aided design and software, and create all of those designs for those machines as well. So this kind of gets into manufacturing. And another thing that's kind of having a moment is 3D printers. And again, the digital files for 3D printers, they can be really difficult to create. 3D modeling on a computer is really difficult. So people will go online to buy those digital files so that they can 3D print them themselves. So again, this kind of goes into making physical products, but you don't have to make the physical product. You can just help the people that are making physical products make them. Because there are so many computer controlled machines now, this is just such a cool space for people to collaborate on projects, for somebody to be doing that digital side of things and people to be making their own physical products, and people are really excited about it. So Cricut is really popular right now, and crocheting and knitting definitely really popular right now. But there are a lot of people that are just in this maker community that are looking for those digital files because they do take a while to make. But if you make it once, then you can replicate it a gazillion times, right? So if you take the time to create that digital file, you can sell it to 500 people and make that well worth your time. So how do you go about creating these digital files? Start with the tools that you know. If you're just proficient with writing, then just starting with Word, with just writing your document and turning it into a PDF, or just turning it into a blog post on a gated platform, then that's a great easy way to start selling your writing. If you're interested in writing an ebook, then again, just start with Word and write your book, save it as a PDF, and now you can sell it online on a bunch of different platforms. A PDF is a really easy to use file format that you can sell on a number of different platforms, and almost anybody can open it. If you are looking to do some digital design for folks, Photoshop is an opportunity, and Illustrator as well. These are just really powerful pieces of software that enable you to do your design work. Illustrator is really great because Illustrator creates those vector graphics that I mentioned that are to be used with the crafting machines and with CNC machines. So you can use Illustrator to create those vector graphics. Audio software, again, if you're just interested in music production, even if you just have very basic audio software at your house, or even if you're just playing around in GarageBand, you can create some pretty simple just background music. You can create, if you are a really talented musician, selling music online is a great thing to do. If you're somebody who's a really talented animator as well, you can totally create your own online TV show. Screen recording software also, if you're trying to teach people something, if you're creating courseware, then you can just start with screen recording software as you go through a tutorial process, as you teach somebody how to do something on the computer. So just consider how people will want to consume the content that you're creating and figure out exactly what format you need to sell your files as. So as I mentioned before, those vector graphics, it's really important for those to be in that file format that works with those crafting machines. So that's something that's pretty easily Googleable. The same thing with the digital embroidery machines. Each different brand of embroidery machine has a different kind of file format. And I mentioned before that if you're selling something like documents, then PDF is usually the way to go. That's something that everybody can open. So then you want to start to think about where you're going to sell it. So one option that I want to show everybody is called Gumroad. It's an open source platform that is specifically designed for selling digital products. So Gumroad recently had a redesign that I really, really like a lot, actually. So on Gumroad, it's super, super cheap to sell things on here. They also have a lot of great tips about selling things. So starting small and learning and how to get better at what you're selling. So even they say, you know, instead of just jumping in and trying to write an entire book, just start by selling a blog post, see if your customer base is there. So they really focus on, you can sell anything from a super small project to a super large project to access to a community. And something else that I really love about Gumroad is that it has a couple different payment models. And also they take care of everything like taxes for you, which is phenomenal because that means that you can sell to an international audience. So some things that are currently being sold on Gumroad, just for examples, folks are selling their apps and software on here. They're selling animated things like GIFs and all sorts of digital image assets, books and writing. So a lot of written tutorials and ebooks. Some folks are even selling their comedy online, right? If you're somebody who's interested in getting into stand-up comedy, if you want to produce your own comedy special, you can go right ahead and you can sell that on Gumroad. Crafts and DIY, of course, web comics and graphic novels. Also, you know, people love comic books, they always have. So if you're interested in creating a comic book, awesome. So there's all sorts of topics here that they cover. You can sell your online courses as well. You don't have to use those platforms that take 30% of your course revenue. Cookbooks also is that's another really fun thing to sell digitally as well, and recipes. If you want to create like a silly little game, you can sell that as well right here. So folks will kind of create that in their native language, but and market to their friends. But you can see folks also do sell the physical products as well here, but it's definitely designed for digital products. So recordings for different presentations that they've done. This one you can see it sells by a month. So this is a recurring subscription. So this is a club for, I believe, International Fashion Week. And so this is a community, an online community where folks will be able to go talk to each other about different fashion and styles. So folks are paying $50 a month to be part of that online community. So if I want to sell a product, it's pretty easy. To just set up, start selling today, name your product, say what the price is. And when you go to customize it, I don't have a product to sell right off the top of my head right now. But when you go to customize it, you know, you can set the images that'll be shown on Gumroad. But really, Gumroad doesn't do so much of the selling for you. They focus a lot on, you know, you'll be doing the marketing yourself. But something that's really nice that they include is, let me see if I can find my own library here. the sale every day course. Gumroad created this course, which will also just kind of give you tips specifically for selling here. So there's a lot of resources to kind of learn about how to do that, your own audience building and digital marketing. And I also just want to take a look at Etsy here, and we can talk really quickly about how folks are selling those digital products on Etsy as well. So Cricut SVG files. Let's just see how many Cricut SVG files there are available on Etsy right now, and see how many of these stores are getting hundreds, if not thousands, of sales. Slow to load. There we go. Folks are selling them in bundles, and they are literally just as simple as text, but folks just don't know how to create their own SVG files. So if you can do that, then that's a really easy way to sell something online, to sell just anything online. But you can see a lot of these websites, these Etsy stores, they're literally only selling SVGs, and they have nearly 3,000 reviews. So they're definitely selling a lot. Some of them are, I do want to point out, they are selling licensed designs. That's something that's like not really legal. So I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you've purchased the license for those designs. But people definitely do that on Etsy. But I will say that Disney in particular is really aggressive about tracking those people down and making them take their stores down. But there are also plenty of stores that are just selling those SVG files. This also is an SVG file that is a paper craft file. So that's another thing that people do with their craft machines. These SVGs that are designs from either like monograms, or they're designs from popular TV shows and things like that. Those are typically used for cutting out of vinyl and ironing them onto t-shirts. So a lot of folks are selling those kind of files. And crochet patterns. Again, there's just a huge market for it right now, with people that are teaching people how to crochet things and knit things as well. So you can see just with the price even that all of these things are patterns. And again, some of these stores, you know, they're not selling physical products, but they're still making tons and tons of sales, thousands of sales. So it's pretty impressive. So Gumroad and Etsy are good platforms for selling your digital products if you just need to sell them quickly and easily. And start back here. So if you feel that you do need to set up your own website for selling your products, which maybe you do if you have pretty specific branding, then some tools that you can use are Squarespace, Wix, or Webflow. But it's really nice to have a platform where that's handling all of your payment processing. To not have to set that up yourself is truly a blessing. And Gumroad really takes the least amount of your purchases to do that. So if you even just set up your product on Gumroad and then you create your own website to list all of those products that you're selling, so that you can direct people quickly and easily there, and have all of your own branding, then that is then Gumroad is just a great place to kind of have those products listed. There's just this one. The slides will also get sent out with this recording, but there's some really great examples of websites that are selling digital downloads for things here. A question that I'm sure probably already exists in the chat is on platforms for selling online courses. Personally, I have not found a platform that I'm really happy with yet for selling online courses. When I go to buy classes online, which I do pretty regularly, something that I like to do for myself for my birthday is to buy an online class for something that I haven't tried before. And Skillshare and Udemy are the websites that I go to buy the courses. But, and you can definitely judge me on the ethics here, I don't like to list my own courses on those websites because they don't pay the course developer very much at all, and they control the price of your course. So on Udemy, you'll see a lot of courses that are listed at $200 for the course, but there's a sale that's like $10 for all of these courses. That just means that you're getting that percent of the $10 rather than when you were expecting to get 10% of the $200 for your course. So they take such a huge cut. They do provide a lot of amazing tooling for creating those classes. And if you are somebody who's just selling, maybe you're selling access to the class somewhere else and you just need a learning management platform, if you don't charge for courses on some of those platforms, then they won't charge you, and you can have your the people taking your course pay elsewhere. But that can be pretty tricky to do as well, just to set that up correctly. So sometimes it's okay just to have a website that's gated by something like Gumroad for access to your class. Or if you're creating a cohort-based online course, then it's a lot easier to sell that online on a course that isn't a platform. Some other popular examples that you will see come up though include Kajabi is one that comes up a lot, and Skillshare comes up a good amount. Udemy does as well. Teachable is another one, but again, I've just not really been thrilled with any of them. So I think that there's a lot of room to kind of grow in this area, and it's probably worthwhile just to figure out how to sell your online course on your own. So the most important part of this is just figuring out that online marketing, because you can post all of your digital products, but a lot of the places where you're posting your digital products, it doesn't sell themselves. So with social media ads, this is a good option because you can really narrow your target to just those people who are searching for something similar lately. Facebook ads are a good way to kind of reach people, but also consider the demographics of the different social media platforms and consider the demographics of the people who are most likely to purchase your digital product. So if you're selling SVGs for crickets, I've found that most cricket people use Facebook, they don't use Instagram, and they don't use Twitter or TikTok. So Facebook would probably be the right platform for that. If you are selling very thoughtful articles on different business topics, Twitter might be the best place to put those ads rather than Facebook or Instagram. So it's interesting now that social media has kind of turned into a place where the different demographics are hanging out on different platforms. With Google Ads also, if you have a collection of digital products, then Google Ads is not a bad place to start because people have specifically searched for the thing that you're selling, and now they're also seeing your entire catalog of things that they could purchase. It's pretty likely that they're also looking for more of the thing that they're trying to buy. For a free way to do digital marketing, finding communities online is definitely the best way to find your customers. So there are a lot of crafter communities online, particularly on Facebook. A lot of them do have rules against very direct marketing, but if you if you make something with the SVG that you created and you post it there, and then people say, oh my God, where did you get that SVG? Then you can happily say, I made it, you can buy it here. There are a lot of creator communities on other platforms like Instructables as well. But just being online and kind of like meeting people online is a great way to find those people that will become your customers. You should probably be a part of those communities that are in your niche anyway, just because you're probably interested in it if you're creating the digital products for it. So, but there are a lot of other ways, to kind of release a little bit of free content as well. Particularly for newsletters, this is effective, where people will want to read a couple samples of something before they commit to paying for a newsletter. But also, if you have a great community, if you have an awesome audience surrounding you, and you offer a free version of something and then a paid version of something, a lot of times people will pay for the paid version. Even that community that I was talking about before, Women Make, that I pay $5 a month to be part of, it's free. I pay $5 a month because, as I mentioned before, it's life-changing. And I'm perfectly happy to provide some source of income for the folks that run the community, so that it can continue to exist. So sometimes just offering a little bit of something free is a really great way to kind of get attention on your products. The same thing with if you're writing an ebook, release a lot of blog posts and chapters of that ebook. Get people kind of hooked on your content. Same thing, especially with online courses. Create a short tutorial. Demonstrate that you really know your stuff, that it would be worthwhile buying your course, and then people will pay for the paid version. So this is the last thing that I want to mention, and this has definitely been a recent update. NFTs are something that you've probably heard about in the news, and definitely they're the newest type of digital product that it's really being talked about in the media every day. And it would be pretty remiss to leave this out of this presentation at this point in history. An NFT is it stands for non-fungible token, which is kind of like a nonsense term that doesn't really help folks who just want to get involved at a practical level, but it is something that exists on something called a blockchain. So a blockchain is designed to theoretically prove ownership of a digital product. And that digital product, in a lot of cases with NFTs, are pieces of digital artwork. So just artwork files. But what that link in the blockchain, that proof of ownership, actually links to is a web address. So you don't actually own the image itself, you just own where that image exists on the platform. So NFTs are really hot. You might be interested in creating an NFT because you're probably hearing about a lot of people getting wealthy creating NFTs, and you're probably hearing a lot of discourse around artists who are suddenly able to sell a lot more of their artwork online. It's a hot topic right now. People do believe that there's a lot of room for innovation here, and people are pretty artists. Some artists in particular are pretty excited about it. But I do want to mention that it's a pretty polarizing topic. People also are pretty against NFTs because, as the concept kind of stands, it doesn't transfer any of the IP rights. So if you purchase an NFT, you don't own the IP of that image. You don't own that image, and anybody else can have that image saved on their phone. They can use it as their profile pictures or anything like that. Also, somebody could just take that image and turn it into an NFT on a different blockchain. So somebody else could theoretically own the same image. It just points to a different web address. It does use complicated technology. NFTs are not easy to set up. particularly if you don't have a lot of technical knowledge, if you don't have already some cryptocurrency set up, and also Ethereum and Bitcoin values, which are the way that you would collect any sort of money from selling an NFT. They're wildly variable right now. And so sometimes it's a great investment and sometimes it's less of a great investment. But that also kind of turns into why it's a really polarizing topic. So you probably are hearing a lot of stories in the news of people who are getting rich selling NFTs, but for every one person who's getting rich selling NFTs, please remember that there are thousands of people who are not getting rich selling NFTs. And it can be a little bit expensive to get started with selling NFTs because the most popular platforms, when you want to sell something on them, will also charge the fee that it costs just for the power to change the blockchain so many times to sell that thing. And that dollar amount, it varies by time of day, but sometimes can be, you know, more than $100 just to post the thing that you want to sell. But if you are interested in learning more about NFTs, I did include a link to a resource about kind of how to get started with selling them. All right, and so that's the end of selling digital products online, and I would be really excited to talk to more of you about selling digital products online and about some ideas that you have. So I do want to mention that next week I'll be giving the third part of this lecture series, and I'll be talking about selling physical products online. We'll definitely go back to covering Etsy. We'll also talk about Shopify a bit and just some of the things that I've sold and shipped out online, and also talk about drop shipping a little bit, and again, just ways to be really creative with making some money and starting small businesses for yourself. And so I will jump right into the questions box here.
Thanks so much, Julie. I will jump in very briefly while as you're starting to peruse the array of questions that are coming up. So again, so thanks very much. Really insightful and great presentation. So thank you. A couple of things I wanted to tease out first, I guess, in terms of some of the things that Julie referenced that hopefully our business advisors that are focused on marketing issues can be of help for you. I loved how you kind of walked through the process of going from kind of content creation to kind of where to put it, and sort of generating PDFs, generating other sound files, whatever it may be, and the creation, kind of loading that onto blog posts and websites. That is material that our business advisors can help with. So if that's a process that you all listening today are considering and are looking to try and figure out how to do, we'd be delighted to kind of work with you on kind of getting that process moving forward in terms of formalizing material. And then the second issue area, I mean, there are plenty, but I think two that kind of jumped out at me in particular is now you've got the content, and kind of what do you do with it, and how do you kind of reach out to targeted customers that may be of use, and your reference point to kind of targeted communities and really being able to tap into that was awesome. And I think also the opportunities in terms of being able to connect with customers via social media marketing, whether it's free efforts and/or paid advertising, working with our business advisors to think through how to kind of best target the customers that can be most interested in the work that you have, to be able to become paying clients of yours. So I really appreciate you kind of referencing those, Julian. That was really, really helpful, and hopefully a lot of the folks here will kind of dig deeply into that and figure out how to kind of tap into that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, the SBDC offers a lot of great resources, and they have a lot of experts on staff who can help, particularly with the marketing side of this, which is really the difficult part, and also just provide a lot of motivation for figuring out how to turn these small projects or these side hustles into businesses. So I'm looking through the questions, and there are a couple questions about NFTs. So I definitely want to touch on NFTs a little bit more. The first question is really great. Where's the best place to learn how to incorporate NFT incentives with your digital sale? Which is awesome. That shows that you totally understand how NFTs are kind of being positioned right now. A lot of folks who are selling access to online communities are doing so through NFTs right now. Something that's particularly interesting, and you'll see there are a lot of celebrities who are purchasing an NFT called a Bored Ape right now. And a Bored Ape, it's just a picture of a monkey that has usually like a hat and sunglasses or something. And people are paying literally millions of dollars for these pictures. But what it gives you access to is an exclusive community where people are having conversations and just like hanging out. So it's almost like buying membership into a private social club. So that is one incentive that's kind of coming along with NFTs. Another incentive to using NFTs is that the value could theoretically increase of that NFT that you got. So if you bought it first, and then all of the NFTs that were going to be released for a particular project were then sold. So now there's a rarity to this thing that you own. If you want to sell it, it's probably going to be worth more because there's an exclusive element to it. OpenSea is the platform that most NFT sales are happening on right now. And so there's a lot of resources online. The crypto community is only as strong as the more people believe in it. So they definitely want to educate people on getting started with NFTs for sure. So there's a lot of places to learn about that online. The resources needed to create fonts and also free stock photo sites. Am I still sharing my, yeah, there we go. Create a font. So most people do this using Illustrator, but there are honestly like a couple tools here where like Calligrapher, which I think you have to pay to download your font, but basically you can literally just write on your computer into the characters and turn it into a font. It's pretty cool. Yeah, all of these are just kind of like hand done. So that's a really cool place. And then you can sell them on buy fonts. Oh, Creative Market, I do hear a lot about. And I've definitely bought some stuff off of Creative Market before, but you can buy custom fonts on Creative Market is a great place to set up. And Creative Fabrica, I've also definitely bought from before. But you can set up your own account on Creative Market and sell right on Creative Market, open up a shop and sell some of those digital assets there as well for fonts and like display. Also a good place to sell slide templates, free stock photo sites. The free ones that I use, oh shoot, what's it called? VZ? No. Pexels, definitely I use probably the most to get those free stock photos. Yeah, Pexels is pretty good. But if you're interested in selling stock photos, the websites that you'd typically look to for stock photos, or if you want to sell them kind of in a catalog is usually the best way to do it, like a themed catalog. You can sell those using Gumroad. Next question is, what is a gated platform? So a gated platform is something that you get to the landing page, but then to access the content, you have to pay. So something like the New York Times now, when you go to the website, you can read some of the content for free, but then you have to pay to access the rest of the content. You can do that on a few different website builders. And sometimes it does take some custom code to do that though. Some of the platforms for selling PDF digital products. So again, Gumroad is the place that I go to the most, but also you can sometimes sell it off of your own website. Can you sell photos? Definitely. You can sell photos. You can sell those on Gumroad as well. You can also sell them on you can submit them to Shutterstock. That was the name of the website I was trying to remember. If you use template websites, is it true you don't own your content? It depends on how you view owning your content. So if I use something like Wix or Webflow, that's my website, period, end of story. Do I own the template? Do I own the IP to the design? No, unless I purchased it, but it's kind of the same thing as licensing. WordPress could be better if you're really concerned about having all of the information for your website stored exclusively on your own servers. Then WordPress is an option. You can also buy WordPress templates, and that doesn't like decrease the value of your website. I personally use website builders for everything. I just don't have the time to do all of the custom code. The platform that I use to build my websites, I use card.co for all of my landing pages. It's just really simple to use. It usually takes me like 10 minutes to make my landing page. It's awesome. And that one page importance, it's really, to have an awesome landing page is really important. To explain in just this part of the screen what your product is really, really important. So to come up with that little tagline and just make sure that that tagline gets across what you're selling right there, that's super important. The card website was, of course, built with card. But there's a lot of templates and just quick and easy places to get started there. Ooh, we have a classically trained fine artist. This is awesome. So again, about the NFTs, yeah, if you are interested in selling your artwork as an NFT, there are definitely resources to learn about how to do that. Again, just kind of like keeping in mind that there are definitely a lot of people who don't view NFTs favorably. There are currently a lot of examples of money laundering and a lot of like grifting with NFTs, and a lot of people have actually lost thousands of dollars on NFTs. So that's kind of where there's a little bit of debate around whether they're a good or bad thing. But if you're interested in trying to sell your artwork as NFTs, then that's really cool. But also do know that now there's a lot of people who are more interested in the idea of buying art online. And a lot more people are kind of appreciating art right now. So this could lead to a really awesome renaissance of that in the digital realm. Is there an organization or two for having corporations buy your products for its employees? I want the onboarding to be easier than government contract onboarding. Definitely hear that. So my company actually buys me access to an online course platform called Front End Masters, which is a programming courseware website. And so it's not really an organization, but sometimes the platforms themselves will kind of enable corporations to buy your product, or to enable corporations to buy your products and then give access to the employees based on their email address. And I know I'm running short on time, so I will answer one more question. I am interested in selling ebooks for recipes. Me too. That's one of my New Year's resolutions this year is I'm going to finally turn my recipes into an ebook. Any recommendations on how to get started or where to look for free examples? I go to Gumroad to look for examples of cookbooks that are just being sold as ebooks, as PDFs. And I'm currently just writing down all of my recipes in Word, but I'm probably going to convert them for, we'll look up best software to create ebook. I think they're going to tell me that it is Illustrator or something along those lines. You can do it in Canva as well. There are a couple really specific just for creating ebooks platforms that might be worth checking out. But if you just save it as a PDF, you can turn it into an ebook and sell it online. But I'm really excited that that you're doing something similar. So I would love to chat about that. But thank you all so much for your time, and I'm looking forward to talking with you all next week about selling physical products online. Thanks, y'all.